Hello guys, my name is Anna and I'm a Ukrainian, and I have decided I will vlog daily from my country Ukraine since the start of this awful war with Russia. And in my daily videos I try to update you on the important real-life situations in my country Ukraine, and of course I'm always glad to answer your questions and to clarify some facts from our history, culture, background or whatever interests you. And today I want to start this vlog with my gratitude and to tell you that I feel really, and I was looking for a word, I cannot say happy or glad because the topic of my vlog is war, and I dream this war to end as soon as possible with victory, not with just peace, but with peace after victory. So perhaps I will say that I'm really proud that today we have more than 30,000 people on the channel. And I'm very privileged to have this community because all of you have come here to learn more about my country, to understand the essence of this war and to support Ukraine, Ukrainian people and all those beautiful initiatives that take place all over the world, make us stronger against the evil that Putin regime created and now threatens the world. I'm sure all of us will win, and I'm so grateful that you are here, that you leave your advice, that you support my channel and that you support people of Ukraine in their fight. And I am convinced this is no more just the war of Putin against Ukraine, it is also the war of the democratic and free world against all the dark, totalitarian and evil. And after we win this war, it will be a very good signal for other authoritarian, totalitarian regimes that threaten smaller countries, smaller cultures, I don't know, people without nuclear weapons. Maybe we will come closer to something kind and to something just. So once again, thank you for your support, thank you for your subscriptions, and thank you for wanting to know more about Ukraine during this dark but very important times. And to mark this 30,000, I encourage you to put me questions. I will pick 10 questions that maybe are the most interesting and will answer them in my tomorrow's video. So feel free to ask your questions and I will answer them in my tomorrow's video. Also, let me know if you would like me to launch an Instagram, because currently I don't have my official account and I'm thinking on that. Let me know if it is something that you're interested in. And I think it's good to dedicate today's vlog to the fear of Russians. Fear is an extremely strong emotion, feeling that all of us experience to a certain degree, and different things make us terrified. But somehow when I imagine Russian Empire, when I imagine the USSR, when I imagine Russia, fear is one of the first associations that I have with their culture. And this fear is both external and internal. I remember the generation of my grandparents, great-grandparents who lived in the USSR, and they were afraid of so many things, like telling jokes about your politicians, expressing your opinion openly, I don't know, even changing your job if you're not satisfied with conditions, salary or something else. There were lots of normal things that were considered abnormal for a Soviet person and could be persecuted. As a result, people were surrounded by that fear. Sometimes maybe it was exaggerated, but in many cases it was not the exaggeration but the reality of a person who lives on a territory occupied by Russia, no matter how we name it. And of course there were external fear. People in Soviet Union, people in Russia today are afraid of enemies that surround them from everywhere. Of course, it is traditionally the West and Ukraine and many other smaller but more strong, more confident, more innovative countries, economies, and so on. So they are constantly afraid of something, and for a very long period the face of this external enemy was blurred. Like back in the times of Cold War, it was definitely the United States, and now it is the United States but also Ukraine, and I'm really proud of that too, because now especially after the success of Ukrainian counter-offensive and the start of Russian mobilization, I think fear is the first emotions that Russians experience when they think about us. For decades, it was hatred, disrespect, various expressions of chauvinism, but now it is fear. And I'm really proud of that because we have managed to demonstrate that what is Ukraine, why are we different, and they have also felt their own flaws and problems and realized what kind of country they are. And I'm not sure they are a country because they don't have strong society, they don't have healthy system of politics and many other examples, and even their culture is at the decline right now, because when you think about famous writers, composers, mainly these are people who lived in the 19th century, and I don't see much public intellectuals, artists who try to influence political situation, who try to oppose Putin, for example, who speak about the war in Ukraine or at least mobilization. No. So fear is something that is everywhere today in Russia, and it becomes stronger with each day. And this is very good for the process of the war, and I'm sure it will help us to win. And we can see that there are conflicts appearing, and for example Kadyrov and the leaders of the Wagner private army start speaking about Putin government and military generals Russian in a very negative way, claiming that the problems and the losses of the Russian army are the guilt of the government and perhaps Putin himself. Also the words and ideas that Russian propagandists use, they turned to a little bit different direction, and they speak more about various problems in the military rule, and they quarrel a lot, and they demonstrate the problems of mobilization, and we see that this mobilization is to a great extent a failure. And on that total level of fear, what will happen to Russia? Fewer people, especially influential people, start being afraid of Putin. And that is also an important signal. So an average Russian today, when he or she thinks about Ukraine, feels fear. And this is not something that we intended. Actually, we wanted to be neutral, if it's possible, with a country that occupied you for centuries with this bad experience of the Soviet Union, but we tried to remain neutral. After they started this war, we have just demonstrated what Ukraine is, what Ukrainian people are, how brave we are, and that the world supports us because he sees this clear division between right and wrong, between democracy, even not perfect, but totalitarianism in Russia. And that is all very, very vivid. So I am sure that we all know that fear is a very destructive emotion, and it may be that fear itself will destroy Russia. Not only the strength of Ukrainian armed forces and the allies, but also the fear of Russian people. And it may lead to civil war, to the collapse of Russia, to many new countries appearing. And that is one of the versions of the Russian future that I personally await. So once again, thank you for the support of my channel and your subscriptions. If you like my videos, like and share them. If you like the channel, subscribe, because it is very important for more people to know about Ukraine, especially now during the war with Russia that Russia started. And I'm very grateful for your coffees that you buy me and for the things that you become my patrons. Introduce yourself to our new project, Soviet Myths Debunked. And remember to put your questions below this video. In my future tomorrow's vlog, I will try and answer those that I will subjectively consider the most interesting one. And let me know, would you follow my Instagram if it appears. Thank you once again for being with me, for being with Ukraine. Slava Ukraini!